Hello and welcome, fans, to Brooklyn, New York. It's me, Topher Davis, and we're here for the All-Star Ultimate Game taking on New York's Bent. This broadcast, of course, is brought to you by 5 Ultimate and Eric. Early recognition is critical. Eric's goal is to teach symptoms to recognize cancer early. I'm here in the booth with Becca Tucker. Excuse me. Hello, Becca.
Hey, Topher. How are you?
I'm doing very well. As our local favorite today, what can you tell us about Bent?
It looks like they're having fun out there. They're dancing through the Soul Train. I imagine that they are looking forward to playing tonight. They're going to be hungry. They didn't do well the last tournament they had in Colorado, and they got a lot of new faces this year with a lot of energy, so I think they're looking forward to playing.
And as they kind of send out their first line, can we assume that's the Bent offensive line?
That's what it looks like, yep.
Who are the players out there that we're going to be watching out for?
There's Bex Soders Russo in the orange cleats. And she's lining them up. She's one of the captains. Anna Membrino is one of last year's captains. She just got called out. She's one of the main handlers. Sophie Hobart is going to be catching a lot of goals, I predict, tonight.
Well, I think it's also worth noting that the offensive line is on, and they're on an upwind side. I was out here throwing earlier today. It's a really tough upwind, downwind type of game. I expect Bent to kind of take their shots going downwind to make it hard for the All-Stars to go upwind on the defensive break to start the game.
I mostly saw Bent warming up this way, so it'll be interesting to see how they go upwind.
Down on the defensive line, the All-Stars have their pretty typical D-line. Beck Brereton, Hannah Leathers, Megan Cousins, Stevie Miller, Margot Sturt, Steph Lim, and Carolyn Normau. You see the wind affecting that pole as Bent is going to take it at half field.
So this is Holly Shapiro, this lefty here. She took last year off. She was missed badly last year.
Well, she's doing a lot of work behind the disc and takes
there
the first shot.
Oh, it's a good shot.
Goes over Sophie Holbert's head, the receiver that we were expecting to be in the end zone. And in the first point, Steph Lim is going to walk the disc up to the goal line and try to get the first break of the game. It's going to be a long 70 yards as Slim is working upwind. Goes for the inside backhand break across the field. Good movement across the space to Carolyn Normau now on the sideline. To Lim in the center of the field. And she gets it up to Leathers. They're playing a lot of the short game. Not able to get a big look coming off of it. But a break from Lim.
Down.
Yep, catches the wind, can't find Miller.
So here's Holly with a big lefty flick. Look, oh, it's nice D by number 55.
That's Hannah Leathers coming out the side. Leathers is known a little bit for her defense. Coming out of University of Georgia, she was the Southeast Player of the Year for 2 years in a row, 2014 and this year, 2015. She starts with a crossfield backhand over to Sturt, who continues up line to Lim. They're working that backhand side, getting a lot of space. Trying to lead up line. Brereton was coming backfield, but she can't get it. Now Bent's offense, again, moving on this downwind side.
Ooh,
takeaway from Hannah Leathers. That's going to give the All-Stars a short field. They only have about 10 yards to go now. Leathers with the disc. Brereton's on the open side, and Brereton gets the first goal. 1-0 for the All-Stars. Start the game with a break and a good upwind break.
Number 17 who threw that turn is, she's new, Eliza Poog.
Where's Eliza? You said she's new?
She's new to the team this year. Yeah, there are 8.
Young coming out of college.
I do not know, but there are 8 new names on this roster this year.
So, Becca, what is your history with Bent and playing history in general?
I've played on Bent since it started, which was maybe 2007. And I missed a couple years when I was pregnant, and I tore an ACL one year, but I've played on Bent every other year. And I've watched this team grow a lot.
And this year you're taking a break again?
Taking another break to pop one out. And
sometimes life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way, but my heart is still on the field there.
Well, we're going to see the Bent offensive line. Now they're going to have to take a stab going upwind in this game. You can really see those flags moving. It's been gusting a bit, but it's been pretty consistently strong on this downwind side. The pull from Walrus.
Outside in pull just makes it back in.
Yeah, that would have been a huge break for the Bent offensive line as they would have got it pretty close upfield. Now they're facing a junky cup from the All-Stars, but good handler movement, keeping it alive.
Oh, nice grab by Holly.
And that one
Sophie's
floating up
that.
there. Yep, there's Holbert downfield making a play. Looks like they're being very conservative until that deep shot opens up, and there it is to the other side of the field. It's floating. Holbert is there, and Talley is there. Katie Talley, you say?
No call. Katie Talley went up for that, but didn't bring it down.
A good shot going across. There weren't any defenders on that side of the field, and unfortunate that they couldn't get the upwind score that short on their first possession.
Oh.
But the disc pops out of Megan Cousins' hands coming for the under. Alika Johnson on the D-line right now, who had brought the disc up to the line.
So LD Lauren Doyle is picking it up. She was new to the team last year. Nice grab, Katie.
And Lauren Doyle's on the sideline, and she's going crossfield. That one's floating. A couple players there. Oh, and Megan Cousins misses it, and it looks like it's
Lexi brings it down.
Is that Lexi Zalk?
Lexi Zalk, yep. Something was called travel.
A travel called on the throw. The crowd doesn't like that, but it's got to go back. The calls are on the field, unfortunately. So Bent 15 yards. Almost had the game-tying goal. Now they're going to have to start with possession again. Swing just barely getting off the sideline. They're still on that backhand side. Goes across inside, but easily read by Cousins this time. Moving it across, Verju with the disc. And another call, this one going back as a foul on the throw that resulted in the turn on the goal line. Bent still on the sideline trying to get for the goal. Sends it up line, and there it is.
A nice shot to Lexi Zock.
Lexi Zock again gets the goal, and Becca, is my understanding that's going to happen a lot for Bent.
Yeah, they look for Lexi. Lexi's a big target, and she's hungry for it. She scored a lot of our goals, a lot of Bent's goals last year.
Well, that's a pretty critical upwind goal right there, as it gives the defense again an advantage to get a break back. All-Stars opened up the game with an upwind break, so Bent, while the score is tied, they're down on the break side and getting getting this break with the 8th defender at the back would be pretty key for Bent.
So they are missing tonight Megan Randall, who's one of the captains and a major force on the D-line. But their D-line is looking pretty fast. Anyway, Michelle, who's going to pull, can usually pin it right in the end zone. Bent is not accustomed to playing in a stadium, so they're figuring out where they need to be right now in the pool.
The lines can be a tough adjustment to get used to, especially since all turf fields nowadays have soccer lines, lacrosse lines, football lines. Ultimate soon should have a permanent
Nice
ultimate
pull.
line down there. Alika Johnson with the disc on the sideline. Inside flick to Schaffner. Now up to Scarth, who makes the catch with some contact on her back. Schrader with it. Now up the sideline. Sheena Titcomb. All-Stars really working up that flick sideline. Now trying to go on the around, but a partial block on Lisa Becaithley's around throw. Bent moving quickly, and they take no time to go for the deep shot. Looks like it just misses 47 and silver. And, you know, I can't say I'm surprised that Bent, after they got the disc, really just took the throw right away. Schrader inside to Schaffner, moves it across the field. Great catch by Johnson there, having to go up for it. Now moving quickly, a lot of space, but Becaithley in the center of the field. Johnson across it, floats over Schaffner, and Aaron Schrader almost gets it. That one hits the ground. Now Bent, their second possession on this defensive point on the flick side. Moving it across the field, a partial block by Becaithley, and it's going to be an uncontested foul on the sideline. That disc first throw catches the wind, sails over the head of the intended receiver, and knocked down on the sideline. Alika Johnson with it in a high count. She finds Sheena Titcomb on the sideline. Becaithley waiting for it. Nothing upfield. Elects to take the reset to Schrader. Now Schaffner 10 yards outside the end zone. And she takes a shot to Johnson. She's on that back line, but she reels it in. That's going to be a goal for Alika Johnston, the Callahan winner from University of Virginia. And looks like Alika Johnson has called herself out the back. Wasn't sure whether or not she was in. And as I had mentioned, the Callahan winner from Virginia, and that's the spirit that you'd expect from a Callahan winner.
Catherine Cole has the disc. Oh.
Sheena Titcomb just reads that one off of her defender. Short field for the All-Stars, and she is rewarded in the end zone as Becaithley gets it and slings it across the middle of the field. A long point for the All-Star offense, but they keep their 2-1 lead.
Sheena Titcomb takes up a lot of space there in that lane. She's lanky and good heads-up D by her.
It didn't even look like she was poaching off the live side handler, as most teams doing, especially in a windy game. They want to take away that first deep look. She just got a quick turnaround, and that might be an Eric awareness D of the day.
So Topher, the All-Star team is coming from Philly and going to where?
Yeah, they just had a game in Philadelphia, and this is our penultimate game. We'll be wrapping the tour up tomorrow in Boston, taking on Brute Squad. We've been on a 4-day game streak starting in Washington, D.C. just a few days ago. And tomorrow will be quite the day for the girls, as they'll be wrapping up the tour. And a lot of these players have been playing with each other since London. Only had a couple days off without a majority of the team. So I'm sure it'll be a great game tomorrow. We're excited to see how it goes. Disc floats up, and on the first point, Margot Sturt gets it short field for the All-Stars. Stevie Miller with the disc, and Beck Brereton on the short turn had no one around her, and she's able to get a quick break, 3-1 for the All-Stars.
Ben's going to need to regroup now. They don't have their coach tonight. Brian Lowe, B-Lowe.
Does Brian Lowe usually travel with the team?
He does. He's a new papa, so that might have something to do with it.
I see. A lot of times family does take over Ultimate. I don't understand it totally. I know some
So
New
you've
York players might not put it there. I'm kind of referencing the original New York.
If we're nice and loud, I'm allowed to give
Right. Kenny Dobbins' list of
Kenny
priorities.
Dobbins, thank you.
What was it? What was the list?
They're a list of 5 priorities, and
It was ultimate,
well,
girlfriend,
yeah,
family,
job, God,
job, God, something like that, yeah.
and his is of course different than what they say in the team cheer, because some people are gonna put ultimate above others. I believe family was supposed to be first in the list.
Oh, really? No, but it was never first on Dobbins' list, although he just had a baby girl. He might be singing a different tune. now.
Might be.
A roller.
Kind of a short field, having a tough time getting pull up the wind, but a cup is really making that first pass difficult. Now they're moving it across the field. Emily Cho with the disc. And trying to get a centering pass. Can't find the receiver, and All-Stars are moving quickly upwind. Johnston and Normal, a lot of give and goes. Now Cousins is open just at the front of the end zone. She's going to score another quick break for the All-Stars, 4-1.
Well, on a night like this when it's windy, anything could happen. A 4-1 lead sounds bad, but
Right.
the D-line has been known to put together strings, and so if they could just get the D-line out there.
Yeah, and certainly having that, I agree that the wind can really change a lot of things. If you can get that upwind score, you usually have a pretty good chance to get that downwind if the wind's strong enough. A couple of those, and that's a 4-point swing in 2 breaks. Of course, that's going to rely on Bent's offense getting this upwind point. Most teams are used to playing in windy games because of their location. Is Bent that type of team? Is New York always breezy?
It's not always breezy, but we play on Randall's Island usually. That's their practice space, and often there is a breeze coming off the water because it is an island.
So we'll see if their zone offense, as it looks like they're going to face another cup, will be able to cut through this zone in this wind. They're going to get 20 yards up to the brick.
So this is Michelle here, who is listed on the defensive line, but she's stepping in on offense, it looks like.
Yeah, well, you had mentioned her as the puller, so maybe they want someone with those strong throws. Some conversation on the field. It's tap back in, no problem. Working that backhand side, but can't get the inside shot. Bent is going to want to really stop a deep shot here. As Carolyn Normal picks it up. High inside break from Normal over to Sturt, and Stevie Miller up to Leathers. She's just outside the end zone. Steph Lim cuts up line and just turns around to the wide open side space. Good work from the All-Stars on our single possession. Again, getting 3 breaks in a row now.
Yeah. That was a nice inside-out high flick to start that motion off.
Yeah, not a throw that I've seen Normal do very often, if ever, on this tour. But with the wind, if you can just get it off your fingers there, it'll do a lot of the work for you. Also, Bent's sending their O-line on again, but hasn't taken a timeout yet. Do you think that has something to do with the coaches, or is team ready to just run and go?
They are missing not only their coach, but a major, one of the majorly on-field forceful captains, Megan Randall. So they may be unsure of how to regroup right now. I agree that they could use a timeout.
We got a shout out to Megan Randall from her one true love, Totino's Pizza Rolls.
Gina Titcomb set to pull upwind. A good mix-up in this D-line as Schaffner and Verju are out there on the line. Typically on, I guess, the offensive line. They kind of run two different sets. This pull from Titcomb, high and floating, working well in this wind. The strongest pull we've seen upwind yet, as Bent gets it 5 yards outside their end zone. Facing a person defense, no cup now. Bent on the sideline after a big upfield throw, but a pick called downfield.
It looks like they may have put in their D-line, though. This looks like
a catch from the ground and taking a shot immediately. It looked like her intended target, Aideen Costello, had started to come under when that disc went up, but Schaffner throws a floaty wind, and Doyle will take a quick shot to the end zone, and there they go. Bent gets a downwind point after a long scoreless streak. 2-1 for Bent, and I can't quite tell who would score the goal down there. Any insight, Becca?
I couldn't see that far. It was in the far corner, 37. (32) is Ali Khan. She's new this year. So that was a D-line that they put in because the O-line was having trouble.
Right. It's always interesting when that happens and the D-line's offense looks really good, and then you have to wonder, why are these guys the D-line? They seem to be scoring so well. Just give them the ball all the time. Maybe that's just my bias speaking as a defensive player.
I like Bent's D-line. A lot of the time when the O-line gets jammed up, they look more polished than the O-line. That happened last year, too.
Well, the Bent D-line is on again after the score. They're going to have to work upwind this time, though, and take away the disc from the All-Stars first.
Let's go, Bent.
Pull going upwind from Miranda Moore.
Here comes the pressure.
All-Stars looks like they're facing a loose cup. Really trying to take away a deep shot immediately. Schrader on the sideline. Great break across the center of the field. Cousins has it now. Oh, and Cousins trying to reset to Walrus. Gets point blocked. Moore with the disc, about 35 yards to go. An unfortunate miscommunication. It looked like Akina Young thought there was a receiver behind her. Stopped attacking the disc, so now Bent still in their zone after the transition. Johnson on the sideline trying to get it to the center of the field. Finds Scarth straight up line. Scarth stuck. Bent doing a good job stopping those around upfield throws, but now that they're going around, they have a lot of space. Becatley can't continue, but sends a blade over the top to Walrus. She catches it straddling the line, and Kate Scarth lays out to save it.
By the All-Stars. Spectacular play.
What a read by Scarth. It looked like Walrus was intending to go to Megan Cousins. Megan Cousins was clearing the space when the throw went off, but Kate Scarth in the right place at the right time. Goal-saving grab.
That's highlight reel material right there.
That is highlight reel material. We've already had a couple great clips on ESPN. Fingers crossed for a third one.
Let's start to ramp it up.
Wonderful play from
Oh, let's get a
Kate
deep
Scarth, the
break
University of
away.
Victoria standout. Our semi-international player, I guess. She still plays in the USAU series, but Canada's a different nation. We'll count it.
Taylor Brooks, throw that back, buddy.
All-Stars up 6-2 right now. And Bent's offense working downwind again. Short pull picked up in the middle of the field. Big break to the undercut. Zalk in the center gets the reset off. Doyle all the way across the field. Great way to switch the attacking lane, and a reset pass goes off the hands. It's going to give the All-Star a free possession.
Here we go, Ben. Here we go.
Virgie with the disc goes all the way across to Brereton.
Here we go.
Brereton to Sturt. Sturt inside. Sheena Titcomb picking it up off the turf, and she does have it. Titcomb went up line, came back to the center of the field. And another break. This one going upwind. That's a big break. That's 7-2.
That's too bad. That offense was looking pretty nice before that missed dump connection. The downwind flick dump is one of the harder throws in Ultimate.
I agree with you completely. There's something when you have that flick up in your hand before you throw it in the wind, it almost feels like it's being pulled out.
And then it has that extra zip on it.
Right. What's your go-to strategy to avoid that?
Looks like this is a critical point for
The fadeaway, take a little step back as you're throwing it so
Alright.
you can put a little loft on it. But
Reverse the momentum, try to... you a physics teacher?
I am not a science person. What's your strategy?
Oh, I would go lefty backhand. Absolutely.
I'm not confident with my lefty backhand, but it's a work in progress.
stay responsive.
You get a lot of control on the backhand. I think it looks good.
It does look good.
Call.
It'll be interesting to note. And you know what? Let's just throw it out there for all you Twitter followers. What do you do on a downwind flick? If you know what I'm talking about, you know what we're talking about up here. So send us your strategies for the downwind flick options. Some
Please
people
do.
might go push pass. Some people might go backhand. Let's get a little survey. Send that to All-Star Alti, and let's get that social feed going.
Another missed opportunity for the Katy
So Bent working upwind, facing a 7-2 deficit. Going up quickly, Zalk with it in the center of the field. Now Doyle, inside backhand. And another drop. Making the wrong cut at the wrong time. And that's Captain Beck Sauter-Rousseau.
Huge point. Ben needs to get this on D.
Pitt Caithley able to keep that alive. Doyle was in a great position to get that D. Now Pitt Caithley stuck. And bounces off of Ben's defender, but still find Leathers. All-Stars getting all the luck right now. Schaffner in the middle of the field, around to Leathers, a call.
Going back.
And it looks like Doyle and Pitt Caithley, maybe it's going all the way back to that throw?
Going crowd, they have no idea what the continuation rules are. We're getting a call for a repull.
Not quite sure where this one is going. But this might be a great time to let you viewers at home know that this event is brought to us in part by the Disc NY. Disc NY is the governing body of Ultimate in the 5 boroughs. It runs adult, women's, youth, and high school leagues throughout the year. If you're interested in leagues, clinics, or coaching opportunities, visit them at discny.org. Play finally gets started again and getting thrown out of their rhythm. Hannah Leathers throws a turnover, giving Bent the disc back with a long possession to go. That one floating up in the air. Leathers gets the read on it, brings it down. Now to Schaffner. Inside flick to Leathers.
Thanks, Andy Bosco, for laughing at all my jokes.
Around to Schrader. Sideline at Cousins, and Cousins reaching for the end zone. Lim laying out, can't get it. A long 70 yards for the Bent offense. That's that downwind flick. Maybe she should have faded away a little bit more. Hey, Beck? Oh, and trying to get a big throw on an inside break, but Schaffner intercepts it and gives it right back. Bent able to move, get one pass quickly, but get delayed pretty soon after that. Salk now with the disc. Up to Holbert. Holbert swings to Doyle. Really trying to work this unders. And that one, again, Zalk off the fingers. About half field to go for the All-Stars. Schrader with the disc. Now it's Schaffner. Schaffner trying to blade it around to Keithley. That one hits the turf. And at 7-2, Bent needs to get this to go before half, but a swing throwaway. No one's moving quickly after this. Slim is the only one to get it, and she finds Keithley amidst the confusion. And that's going to take the All-Stars into half. I got to say, that was a marathon point, Becca.
Yeah, that was a hell point. It's always extra frustrating when you turn it over going backwards, which Emily Cho just did.
Right, especially in this type of wind.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd... I was expecting us to see a little bit more of the possession game, trying to get the deep throw going and take those risks, but they're working the unders, just not making the catches.
Yeah, like that one that bounced off Lexi's hands. That was the wind. That was... She catches that 99 times out of 100.
Well, as we're going to wrap up the first half and take a 10-minute break here in New York. Be sure to come back to watch the finishing game, the finishing half of this game here in New York. I'm Topher Davis here with Becca Tucker. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, fans, to the second half of All-Star Ultimate taking on New York's Bent here in Poly Prep Country Day School. We'd like to remind you that this broadcast is brought to you by 5 Ultimate and Eric. Eric teaches Ultimate in middle school clinics with the message that is the 3 pillars of Eric: be active, be aware, and be prepared. If you would like to have a clinic, an Eric clinic come to your middle school, or would like to be part of it, be sure to check out the Eric website and the Facebook page. Like those guys, spread the word, and get the recognition out there. So we're at 8-2 in this game right now. And Becca, what's Bent going to have to do to get some of these upwind goals and start cutting away at the lead?
If I were Bent right now, I would look to go through Holly Shapiro, who is a lefty with big throws on both sides and can throw that backhand upwind.
Is she on the line right now?
She is not. I think they have a D line out right now. And she's been
Right.
playing O.
That's true. That's true. So they might not use her upwind, but for those deep throws, they're going to want her out there.
Yeah, I think they need to play a little bit more field position than they have been because it's so windy out there.
Right. And a lot of the drops look like they're not much other, I don't want to say focus errors. I don't think the teams are out here. I think it's one of those things where when the wind just pops it at that last little bit, whatever it's going to do, it's really affecting their catches on the underthrow. And I agree. That's something we talked about at halftime, thinking that Bent should get those yardage and maybe lock down on the D.
I wonder how hard the lighting is, too, how hard it is to see.
Well, I'm sure these girls aren't that used to a night game. You don't get a lot of those out in the tournaments. Well, to start out the half, Bent on defense. Pull goes out of bounds. About 40 yards from the end zone. Schaffner bringing this to the center of the field. Schaffner and Walrus expecting to do a lot of handler movement against this Bent cup. As it gets into play, quick movement, Schrader back to Schaffner. Now she breaks it across the field all the way to the sideline at Verju. Picaithley has it. They're well in front of the cup. And it looks like the transition to person defense has happened just outside the end zone. And Cade Scarth, inside break, finds Alika Johnston in a great zone offensive possession for the All-Stars. Never really looked too trapped or too uncomfortable, and they put in a quick goal, 9-2.
It looks like just about every All-Star receiver has a couple inches on the Bent defender.
First, everyone here, come out to the Bent fundraiser
Which,
on the 21st. It's gonna be
wouldn't be a big deal. I don't think they're playing a lot of the floaty game.
Great question.
But
No.
Where is it?
inches is certainly a speed
Yeah,
thing, too.
I was just noticing,
Central
it seemed
Bar.
particularly pronounced
August
there. Bent has
21st,
been known
get
to be the
there
shortest
early, empty your wallet,
and
give all your
oldest
money to Bent.
team at Nationals a number of times.
It's certainly a record to have. I don't know if it's
Now time for another
the one you want to go out with, but
Maybe it was just shortest. Maybe it wasn't the oldest. Maybe that was just me.
T-shirt. In my right hand, mushroom soup from Hale and Hardy.
are you saying you're tipping the scales on the average?
Oh, definitely. If you last long enough, eventually you get to be the oldest.
Well, now we're going to see the Bent offense for the first time in the second half. We'll be curious to see what kind of adjustments they'd made.
I actually don't see Holly out there right now. Oh, yeah, there she is. She's going to pick up the disc.
Receiving the pull on the sideline.
Ask for a shout out.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and almost a second attempt grab. But a free possession for the All-Stars. 15 yards outside the end zone going upwind. And a lot of pressure going on. Great defense. That looked like Lauren Doyle coming out the back.
Don't bring that to New York. Don't bring that.
LD slaps it down. They needed that.
And Doyle trying to stretch the field. Ends up short. Normal has no problem receiving it. And Tick comes. That one's floating, trying to go for the end zone. Bent had the advantage there. Plenty of players in front of the disc, and they do bring it down. And again, shooting deep, looking for their captain, Lexi Zalk.
You know what? That's not a bad place for them to be right now on the 20-yard line.
Certainly not. Certainly not. And that's the strategy we're expecting to see from them. So let's see if they can lock down and get one of these short field turns as Chena Titcomb picking up the disc near the backhand sideline. Coming out, wow. Almost a great poach D off the handler. Leather still gets it. Now stretching for the end zone. Lim trying to run it down. going upwind. That disc had a lot of float.
Very nice attempt at the poach D by Ann Silver there.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a great possession for Bent, having a short field, but now they have to work the full 70. And on the underthrow, a little low, and foul's called.
Yeah, body check.
Lays down the
Body
lumber.
check, Normal playing a little bit of that physical East Coast defense. But that inside throw misses the target. Now Lim and Normal moving back to the handler spot. Around throw to Miller. Miller takes a shot. It might float out there for Sturt, and she can't run it out. Both teams now looking like they're taking those yardage-gaining shots that we might have expected.
Lexi Zock picking up, which is unusual. She did not used to handle. She may just be trying to get it moving.
And, well, she's also trying to get it downfield as Zock sends the flick. Almost caught by Ann Silver there, but
Bent's back on
it's going to
defense.
give the All-Stars another possession. All-Stars on this defensive line trying to get a break-up win. The first offensive point for Bent out of the half. And Titcomb going around, gets fouled on the mark.
Bent with some lumber of their own.
Leathers in the center of the field. Can't bring the disc around on the mark. Again, the disc is
Like they're
stopped
discussing
in the center of the field.
color in New York.
Trying to get a reset, and there's that backfield turn that you don't want as a team.
Ann Silver, who just was on the dump, has a really long wingspan. Great defender.
Good job forcing the disc to go back. And now the closest this Bent offense has been to their goal line. Great grab, keeping it inbounds, taking it out of the air. On the forehand sideline, trying to play to that cone, and she gets it. Good work to keep inbounds.
That was Catherine Cole, too.
Can't tell, looks like 2 numbers out there. But Catherine Cole really doing a lot of good work there.
Great grab.
Great grab on the sideline.
And she always makes it look super casual, too.
Well, they take the long
just
walk
having to
back,
attack the
depending on
disc. We've seen a
the
lot of
things
passes
to do
go
in New
over
York
the
with
heads of the players and then just sneaks it down the goal line, down the end zone, excuse me, down the sideline.
I meant like go to the Statue of Liberty.
3-9 for Bent. Long point, but they're happy to score.
Thrilled.
Yeah. Coming out of the second half, there's only been 2 points. Certainly a long point, but their offense needs to just put it in.
Olive Garden, Times Square, All-Stars. Best Italian in the neighborhood.
Catherine Cole with the disc. She's the one who just snagged that one and had the assist, and now she's going to pull.
While you're there, don't forget to check out Vanilla Color Doodle Hoodies.
The New York crowd really getting into it.
It's a nice multi-generational crowd here. I was scanning the audience at the break. We got kids, we got oldsters.
And certainly New York has a strong tradition of ultimate here. I think they want to cement that they're here to stay, not just one of those past teams that have faded out.
There's always a lot of turnover in New York because people are very career-oriented here, so that's always a blessing and a challenge. New faces, and people take off quickly.
Ooh. So Schaffner and Walrus working the backfield of this cup. Haven't got past where the pole was, but now a flick around to Walrus. Walrus trying to take a shot to Verju, can't get it. This is where the breaks need to start happening for Bent, and that one floats, almost caught. in the center of the field. But they're taking those possession shots, ready to set up that cone, that zone again. And on the swing, goes out of bounds. It's going to roll out with about 30 yards for the Bent offense to go.
Kara Brown picks the disc up.
Centers to Young. Young keeping it going across. With the player on her back, makes the grab on that
Great
flick.
grab by Miranda. She's new this year.
New this year and already making an impact.
She's from the West Coast. Oh, foot block.
Yeah, trying to go underneath the foot of Pitcaithley, and Pitcaithley gets the block and kept going. Gets the read just a couple yards outside the end zone. Bent player's not there. Ran off the field thinking she was already in the end zone. And wasted a little bit more energy than she needed to by the time she finally got back to Pitcaithley. Verju had the disc and put it right in. Looked like it might have been Michelle Rubik.
Who was that?
Who thought
Who was the one who caught that long one?
Caught the goal and the long pass was Lisa Pitcaithley.
She looks hard to guard.
Yeah, she's been a real big player for this team from the University of Santa Barbara. She's been on a couple USA national teams at Beach Worlds, U23 in 2013 and 2015. Now here on this tour, she has a lot of big game experience.
Only worn once, some Walking Dead socks.
Bex is talking to the team, setting them up, pepping them up.
At their offensive point, trying to keep trading possessions here in the second half. You think even if you have a bad first half, to just stay consistent in the second half is a good way to let your team like feel out a game. You know, they've already got through all of their tournaments, so now it's just gearing up for regionals. Or does Bent have to go through sectionals as well?
They go to sectionals, but there's not much competition there. It's a nice sort of a. Because they didn't make nationals last year, they do have to go to sectionals.
So they'll have to do the full postseason.
It's a one-day thing. It's kind of a nice, relaxed day, sectionals.
Well, here they're facing a tough zone from the All-Stars. Not gaining much. Now on the sideline, trying to swing it around this cup.
They're moving it more quickly than they have been.
Yeah, you got on the reset pass, again, a drop, and that's...
Membrino dropped that.
Yeah, the risk of a lot of passes. That's what a zone is trying to set up, and Alika Johnston, great flick over to the break side. Megan Cousins gets to the cone in front of her defender, and that's a great throw going upwind from Johnston. So that's the first break of the half for the All-Stars. They really went on a barrage in the first half, but we're going to see the Bent offensive line going upwind. Is there a lot of personnel changes from this last line?
A few. We still have Holly in. Still have Membrino and Katie Talley. Sophie Hobart. We haven't seen that much of her tonight. They haven't been able to put it up to her. She's really good in the air.
Yeah, she seems like the player that can get a good read in the air or just run out the disc.
Yeah.
Neither of which is going to be as effective in the environment today. The breezy game kind of takes a lot of skills out of those fast players as it turns a lot more into a thrower's game.
Yeah, and Bent has been a little light on the handler side the last couple years. Oh, it's a risky outside in. It's not going to make it back.
A walrus on the outside in pole gives Bent the disc. Basically on the goal line. I don't think that had any inbounds play. Certainly a risky throw, and going down that sideline, maybe trying to get the roller and play the wind. Not good for the All-Stars here.
Bent would really like to convert this one.
Yeah, not only are they going to get it well upfield, they're also going to have it in the center of the field. Looks like Eliza. Can you help me with the last name?
No, I can't. Eliza is new this year. Eliza Poog.
They get to center it.
Well, she's got it in the center of the field. We'll see. Takes a quick strike just outside the end zone.
To Membrino.
One pass and goal line D. No, yes.
No.
Schrader gets a piece of the disc. It is almost gathered in by Carrie Byer.
Carrie Bear. It was a pretty heroic effort. It was not a great throw. Bent's going to get it back, but it's all the way on their end zone.
Yeah, we're going to see what the offense would have done having to move the full 70. And a drop from Holly Fisher. Gina Titcomb goes immediately to Picathley, and Picathley finds Schaffner in the middle of the field. Bent having a tough time with those with the switching of O&D, especially when they have the backfield drops. No one's ready to transition yet.
That was rough. That was a golden opportunity to put one in, an upwinder. So what were some of the responses, Topher, for how you deal with a downwind flick dump?
Oh, well, I got a couple people who enjoy the lefty with me.
Yeah.
Shout out to all you guys out there. Glenn Poole, thank you. The lefty's always great. Mike Lawler says that Emily Bacher has a good lefty backhand on Brute Squad, so maybe we'll get a windy game tomorrow.
Okay.
Amanda Kostick, she's a fan of the front edge, up a little bit, outside in. Let the wind do the work. I think that's a lot of favorable responses. Molly McKeon also says, if there's space, just let the wind do the work. Get the disc out there. It's fine.
Yeah, that front end up, bend it in a little to your receiver is a good call.
And if you missed the first half, we're talking about the downwind flick that the wind is kind of pulling the disc out of your hand. Sometimes the flick is a little too tough. You want to do a little something special with it. So if you just joined late in the game and like to input, go ahead and join the Twitter talk. That pull goes out of bounds again for the All-Stars, but not as favorable for the Bent offense. They're going to get it with about 40 yards to go.
Michelle Ryback picks it up.
Rebel Ultimate for life. Dublin sucks. She might be from Galway.
Ryback flick to the open side. Working it down this open side, getting under their defenders. There's another one and trying to toe it in, but they've ran out of real estate.
Bench back on defense.
Having to go upwind for the second break in a row for the All-Stars. Steph Lim. On the sideline, can't get a pass, going up line. Great feed by Norma, and she sends it. Stevie Miller has no one on her.
We just want to remind the All-Stars.
Oh, and Miller trying to go the quick pass to Brereton. Brereton was probably going to clear all the way through. Now Brereton back on defense. Swinging around quickly. Brown misses the target. It's floating, and Lim gets a hand on the disc.
Just a long walk back to the
It looked like more was coming from the cutting space, but Slim stayed with it. Followed the disc all the way through to get the D. Now working on the sideline, breaks it to the center of the field to Leathers. Cousins moves it quickly to Sturt. Dirt looking for the reset. Looks once, twice, gets a lefty up line to Leathers. She's now in the center of the field, just a couple yards, and Steph Lim finally gets to the break hands, to the break side. Hannah Leathers delivers the around backhand, and 13-3, a truly dominant performance here from the All-Stars.
To one of the sponsors for tonight's event, responsible for booking this awesome venue, Disc New York. Let's hear it for Disc New York. They do so much for Ultimate in New York, it's unbelievable. They're having an open house summit October 28th for all of New York to get together and talk Ultimate, which I know you all love to do.
Oh, there's a timeout on the field, it seems. Bent is going to take a little break to see how they can finish out this game. We're going to take a little timeout ourselves just for a minute. Be sure to tune in for the end of this game here at the All-Star in New York. Well, we just had a commercial break, but I'd like to actually give you a commercial. This is for Disc Northwest. They had really helped us secure the field, Disc New York, excuse me, really helped us secure the field here in Brooklyn. And Disc New York is the governing body of Ultimate in the 5 boroughs, and it runs adult, women's, youth, and high school leagues throughout the year. And Disc New York actually ran their first, I don't know if it's their first, you can help me out with this, Becca, but they ran a all-women's summer league this summer with over 70 participants.
Awesome.
So really,
That was in the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Really great to have them help out with us and to see that they are in line with the Women in Ultimate goal and vision that this tour is trying to promote.
New York always struggles to field a second team. And so hopefully that summer league will parlay into.
Has tried and failed?
Sometimes there is one, but it doesn't practice kind of thing, and it's not near the same caliber, as Bent.
What was you said you were here for the start of Bent in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was there a women's New York scene before then? I assume there was.
There was. The infamous Ambush. Yeah.
Infamous?
Yeah. We were known for yelling a lot. That was mostly me.
That sounds like a New York thing, though. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have to apologize for that. Well, that pull puts Bent on their goal line. All-Stars playing a person defense, matching up 1-to-1, and another drop just outside the goal line.
Emily Cho doinks it.
Johnston with it. Looks for the
Big
hammer.
hammer.
That's going to float.
Sophie smacks it down.
Yeah, no problem for Sophie Holbert. She gets the good read. She's got a couple inches on some of those players out there. And
Now she's fired up. Uh-oh.
floating again. Johnson gets a hand on it. Looked like it was going to float out. But a short field.
When I say fish kill, you
We'll
say
see if the
farm.
All-Stars can punch this one in, as they gave the disc right back last time.
Oh.
Wow, an inside shot from Aaron
That's a
Schrader.
great
and
grab.
Schaffner. Quick to leave her feet on that one and keep possession of the disc.
She's looks like she got a little wind knocked out of her. That was a great grab. Really quick, explosive layout from the front of the stack.
Game point.
Absolutely. It just what you expect from the end zone offense, and that flick, as we've been talking about, going downwind has a lot of zip on it. Schaffner made a quick reaction and puts the All-Stars at game point.
We'd like to see a little more out of Bent before this game ends.
Of course, we've told you about our partners on the tour that make it possible, Five Ultimate and Eric, but there are a lot of the partners that don't get the recognition. Of course, I'm talking about all the parents out there. They've been such gracious hosts for us on the tour, putting us up, getting us dinner. I'd like to give a special shout out to Tom and Rosemarie Cormau for really treating us right yesterday in Pittsburgh. Philadelphia. We're not even close to Pittsburgh.
And
So-
where are y'all staying tonight?
That's a great question. I usually don't know until we show up at the door. But so far, I've never been disappointed, and I've never wanted to leave once we got there. Let's hope the tradition continues. Bent with the disc in the center of the field, needing to get this point to extend the game. And there's a shot going down line. It's floating up there.
Oh.
Lexi Zoll doesn't leave her feet in time. The crowd was hoping that was going to be the ESPN player for the local team.
For Mario for number 2.
But on the deep shot, Bent can't connect, and now they have to go. All-Stars have to go 70 yards upwind.
Guarded by Anna currently, now guarded by Lexi.
Johnson at the goal line. Trying to hits an inside pass to Titcomb. Titcomb, big throw up field to Scarth. Now Becaithley on the sideline. Continuing up that backhand side. Titcomb is able to get it with a little contact on the sideline. Center of the field to Johnston. That one catches the wind, but Becaithley is in a good position. Can't continue to the break side. Now in a high count. Might have been a contact call as she still has the disc, and now we're going to have a discussion.
Guys, the answer is Gaffara's is the best pizza in New York. Everybody knows that.
Something,
Sophie on the mark right now. Sophie Holbert.
yeah, might have been a contact, a disc space, or maybe a fast count, as play didn't stop until some confusion late in that count.
That looks like a travel.
Back to Becaithley and Johnston with it on the sideline. All-Stars have been having a tough time getting the disc moving quickly, but they're still getting their resets. And an inside shot from Titcomb. Finds Schaffner in the end zone. And that wraps up the game. Schaffner gets the last
And
2
that's
goals
the
of this game and
All-Star
ends
here
it
for the All-Stars.
15 to
It's the
3.
New York Band.
Well, the All-Stars are going to be happy with their performance. Becca, what do you think Bent is going to take away when they watch
I
this
think
film?
they're going to be PO'd, and that's going to get them fired up. I think they're going to be practicing hard next weekend.
Yeah, they're done with all their tournaments, so this is kind of their last big test before the sectionals and regionals. Hopefully they get that bid going into nationals and can show the rest of the nation what they can do. We've
Yeah.
had a great time here in the booth. Of course, we couldn't have done it without our camera operators, Tyler Cable, Mario Bundy, and Angela Toki. Our instant replay operator, Suni Haley. Our director, Vin Bowie, does great work. And, of course, the executive producer, Kevin Minderhout. Becca Tucker here. You've been great today.
Thanks, Topher. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. Of course, I'm Topher Davis, and we'll be finishing the tour tomorrow in Boston. Be sure to check us out on the stream. Unless, of course, you're a Boston local, then we hope to see you at the stadium. It's been a pleasure. We'll catch you next time.